You'll spin in circles for this one, Joe promises. We will show you all the goals and all the great landings. So plant your flag with us, and please don't get dizzy watching all these highlights. Sports Night is next.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Sports Night. I'm Joe Young.
And I'm Howie Shapiro. Almost forgot who I was. I did get dizzy watching Lily McKenzie spin the other night. I don't know how long. She did it for so long. It was just crazy.
We had a little extra time as they were cleaning up the rink, had a little extra water in a corner, and she took the time to work on her figure skating.
She did.
But the team finished strong, and the girls' hockey team is really hot heading into the section playoffs, which will start on Saturday. We won't know the seedings until after the show this evening. The games will all be complete, and they'll have their seeding meetings. But a huge week for the girls last week. They had 3 games starting out against Blaine. They had back-to-back games against Blaine and Rogers with a lot on the line, and they get payback against the Bengals. Remember, they lost to the Bengals in overtime early in the season in a game they pretty much controlled. And second time around, they beat him 4-2. Kylie Scott had 3 assists. Sydney Bernovic had a pair of goals. Lily McKenzie had a couple of helpers. A goal for Evelyn Semling and a goal for Brooklyn Johnson. Then they turned around and beat Rogers 6-3. And this was really a battle between the two teams trying to get the number 3 spot in the section tournament. Kylie Scott had 2 goals and an assist. So did Lily McKenzie. A couple of assists for Kylie Oswego. Singh and Del Castillo lighting the lamp for the Bluebirds as well. And then they wrapped up the regular season on Saturday, hosting conference and section rival Osseo Park Center. CPCR was looking to make it 5 straight heading into the playoffs and facing a team they knew they could be seeing in the first round of the sections. The Bluebirds won the first game between the two by a 5-1 score, but the Orioles showed early they were not to be underestimated. Bluebirds celebrating their favorite veterans on Military Appreciation Night, but it's Osseo Park Center showing the firepower first. Centering pass finds Alicia Smuck in the high slot. She finds the back of the net. It's 1-0. Then it's a display of pure speed. Haley Eikos races end-to-end, leaving Bluebirds in her wake. Finishes with a pretty move and a wide-open net. Bluebirds on the wrong end of a 2-0 score for the 3rd game in a row. They get a power play late in the period, and they take advantage. Scott's shot didn't get through. Sydney Bernovic there to flip it past Akiva. Lead cut in half. Bluebirds take the momentum. And they keep it in the second. Another power play. This time Scott able to find a lane and rip a wrister to the twine. It's all tied at 2. 3rd straight game with 3 points for Kylie Scott. Pretty play alert. Beautiful recovery. Back to the point. Quick shot tipped by Lily McKenzie. Sydney Bernovic pokes the rebound home. Her second of the game, and it's the winner. Bluebirds hold on for a 3-2 win. 5th straight win to close out the regular season for the Bluebirds.
Well, OPC came in with 9 wins on the season. And I think the Bluebirds thought, well, we beat them 5-1 the first time. They've been playing well as of late. They really gave them a game. I thought maybe it would be a little more distance and score, but they got the win, and that was what's important.
Well, and they controlled it, and it easily could have been more, but the Osseo Park Center goalie coming up with some big saves, and that's a very strong chance your 3 versus 6 matchup. We won't know for sure until after the show this evening, but it looks like Maple Grove should get the number 1 seed. That's almost guaranteed. Number 2 will be Centennial Spring Lake Park, and then Champlain Park Coon Rapids with Rogers in the number 4 spot. So look forward to it, and we will be there on Saturday.
Absolutely. Well, the boys hockey team finished its schedule with a flourish. 5 games in 8 days starting tonight against Totino Grace. They come in with a little momentum after a busy week last week. It started with a rescheduled game against Eastridge. The Raptors were red hot coming in, so the Cardinals would need their offense to click if they hoped to end their 3-game skid. Eastridge starts fast. Blake Leidy with speed to the corner, leaves it back for the one-timer by Hank Garrett. Tipped top shelf by Jack Tauscher. The Raptors are on the board just 91 seconds in. They add their lead off a lucky bounce to dump in from Jake Gonzaga. Caroms off the corner, then the side of the net, and Brady Knutson has a wide open net to give the 2-0 lead. Cardinals able to cut it in half before the first intermission. Strong stretch pass from Nolan Hazelwood. Luke Rising carries it to the corner and just throws it out front. Nick Espinoza is there for the finish. Still anybody's game after 1. The Raptors are going to waste no time getting their 2-goal lead back. Grant Conan bounces off the check. pops out in front, rips a wrister past Durkop. Eastridge up 3-1 less than a minute in. Eastridge adds one more in the third on the power play. Grant Conan with the shot, Blake Conan with the tip. Raptors skate away with a 4-1 win. The Cardinals drop their third straight.
Well, the Cardinals were right back at the Crick on Thursday, hosting a Blaine team that has really been struggling. It's been well over a decade since the Cardinals won this matchup, but the Bengals were just 3-17 and only scored more than one goal in 4 games all year. Cardinals finally got their offense rolling, and they ended that long dry spell. Senior night for the Cardinals as the program recognized its 6 seniors, but the Bengals came in looking to spoil the celebration. 5 minutes in, Blaine on a 2-on-1. Durkop makes a great save on the initial shot, but the Bengals storm the net, and Alex Dalk is able to poke it home. Blaine is on the board first. Cardinals respond by peppering the Bengals net. The shot by Klinzing is deflected into the corner. Barsness flips it to Tyson, who plays it on net. Eli Bowden at the back door cashes in on the rebound, and it's 1-1 after the first. All about special teams of the second. Cardinals with a shorthanded 2-on-1. Rowan Bresnahan gets it to Bowden for the redirect. His second gave it a 2-1 lead. Then 5 against 3. Look at the speed and skills for Tyler Barsness all the way across the top of the zone, then fires it back to the short side top shelf. But still on that same 5-on-3, Bengals respond. This is just 14 seconds later. Caden Parent shoots past the screen just inside the post. It's back to a 1-goal game. Less than 40 seconds after that, we're back at full strength. Tandon Butch weaving to the slot and showing some slick mitts. Beat the keeper with a quick wrister. Cardinals up 4-2. 4 goals in the game in less than 2 minutes. That pace did not continue. Cardinals do add one late in the third on the power play. It's a great redirect by Bowden. His second hat trick of the season for Eli. Cardinals secure a 5-2 win over Blaine, ending their 3-game losing streak and a much, much longer dry spell against the Bengals.
They needed to get that losing taste out of their mouths, and obviously it was a nice win for them. And anytime that Coon Rapids can beat Blaine, that's a win, and that's a good win, definitely. So I think that's something that they needed to do, and they got it done.
Yeah, and they followed it up by beating a pretty solid Woodbury Royals team on Saturday. The Royals were right about the same place as the Cardinals, right around that 500 mark. I think they might have actually been a little over it. But Cardinals went out and put up an 8 on them, a snowman on the board. Hat trick for Tyson in this one, a 4-point night for Tristan Golan with a goal and 3 assists. Nick Espinoza had 3 points with 2 and 1. Klinzing and Alphin both had 3 points with a goal and 2 assists. Tyler Barsness had 3 points. All were helpers, and they improved to 9-11. Busy week, as you mentioned, to close out the remainder of the schedule. So they have Totino Grace tonight.
Right.
They're at Hopkins on Tuesday, hosting Armstrong on Thursday, and then facing Armstrong at Armstrong on Saturday, a little home and home, and then they have a game again on Monday. And the last game of the regular season, I'm not remembering who it's against, but either way, 5 games in 8 days.
It's a lot of hockey.
They hope that they can keep some momentum going. Wrestling team, as we talked about last week, struggling with some injuries. They had a couple of events last week. They had a tri-meet at Robbinsdale Cooper. They were able to get 5 pins against the home team in a 54-24 win. Followed it up with a 42-27 win against Bloomington Kennedy. But unfortunately on Saturday, this team is so beat up, they only had 4 guys wrestling varsity to start the Bengals duels. They lost 66-16 to Totino Grace, 57-18 against Forest Lake, and then 57-9 against Foley. They only had 3 guys wrestling in the final match. Jake Bridenstine and Carter Skradsky both finishing 3-0 on in the tournament. 3 pins for Bridenstine, 2 for Carter Skradsky. Hunter Allen also had a couple of wins and had a pin as well, 2-1. They are scheduled to be in holding forward on Friday, but this team's so nicked up they may actually pull out due to just not having enough bodies to make the trip worthwhile. Sections is just a week from Friday, so not far away at all.
Yeah, when I communicated with Coach Adams last week, he said he's never had a team this injured at this point in the season. Well, the gymnastics team has its week off before heading into sections. Last week, the Cardinals were busy, starting with a tri-meet at Champlain Park on Tuesday. The Cardinals, well, they're a young team dealing with a lot of injuries, but it's giving more girls a chance to show their stuff. And all the Cardinals got some airtime last week as CTN Light Crew was there for the meet with the Rebels and the Blaine Andover team. Cardinals starting with smiles, looking to finish the season strong. Senior captain Cecilia Rile had a nice night. She was 5th on the vault with an 8.2, and she was 5th on the all-around with a 29.25. Fellow captain Ada Drummy continued to lead the team in all events. She starts the night with a 3rd-place finish on the vault, scoring a very solid 8.35. The uneven bars was always been a struggle for the Cardinals, but Aurelia and Drummy both able to score well in the tri-meet. Drummy barely missing the podium with this routine. A 7-flat meet, she finishes in 4th. While it didn't get her into the top 10, Angel Marshall turned in a great floor routine on Tuesday, scoring a 6.8, which is more than half point higher than her previous meet. Back to Ada Drummy on the balance beam. Her best finish of the night. She takes 2nd place with an 8.2. Drummy finishes 4th in the all-around with a 31.275. Cardinals are 3rd in the meet with a team score of 106.75. And a nice score for them. They were scoring in the low hundreds, and so to get a 106.75.
Well, especially with a
beat-up team.
lineup that's nicked up. They're hoping Callie Barker may make it back before sections. They had another meet on Saturday. Against Anoka. They scored a 109 in that. Anoka scoring a little better than a 140. We were not able to get the full results before as far as the different events, but they're hoping they get some girls back. They do have some time off. Sections isn't until the 17th of this month, and then the state tournament, should anyone advance, would be the week after. Swimming and diving team just one meet last week, and it was a tight one. Went down to the very last event. Coon Rapids taking 6 of the 11 first-place finishes, but the depth of Anoka wins out in a very tight one, 92-88, the final in favor of the Tornadoes. They started with a first-place win in the 200 medley relay. Nick Larson was first place in the 200 individual medley and the 100 backstroke. Mitch Tronson was tops in the 50 and 100 freestyles. Courier was first place on the diving board and a first place finish in the 100 breaststroke for Frank Denton. A couple of other guys, I think Nick Schultz and Ling both had a couple of second place finishes. So they were in the mix, just came up barely short. And now that was the 7th and 8th place meet for Northwest Suburban Conference. So the Cardinals will finish in 8th place. Now they have a couple of weeks off to do their full taper, their section tournament coming up toward the end of this month, I believe on the 24th and 25th. NORDIC ski team is getting ready for sections coming up this week. Last week they had the Northwest Suburban Conference Championships. Cardinals boys finishing in 8th place overall with a 3:52. Top pursuit time was Aaron Casey in 6th place overall in 14:28. Ludwig and Demmer were their top sprint relay squad, taking 4th place overall. On the girls' side, 8th place finish as well. Megan Fuller, their top pursuit finisher, in 29th. Kendall Martinick was in 37th with Ella Legree right behind her. Their top sprint relay team of Bone and Demmer finished in 4th place, while Radke and Borns finished in 8th place. So they have sections on Tuesday this week, or Wednesday this week, and then state will be next Tuesday and Wednesday. Alpine ski team did not have a meet this week. Their sections are on Tuesday this week. Their state championships are next Tuesday. Boys basketball team had 3 games last week. None went in their favor. A couple of close ones. First against Spring Lake Park, they lose 78-67. Jackson Young leading the way with 18 points. Tegan Plowman-Tate added 17, and Jackson Hetwer had 12. Jerry Freeman added 9 for the Cardinals, while Jalen Palmer had 5. Then on Thursday, Cardinals take on Totino Grace. That's a pretty good basketball
they're
team
really
over
good.
there. And they lose by 50. 3 guys with 11 points each, Palmer, Young, and Hetwer. On Saturday, they take on section rival Duluth East. They lost that one 81-68. Great night for Jerry Freeman, 20 points, 4 rebounds. Jackson Hetwer had 13, and Jackson Young added 12. But the Cardinals fall to 5-13 on the season.
Yeah, I guess they got in a bit of a hole against Duluth East, and they tried to come back. But the story is, anytime you dig yourself in a hole like that, it's really difficult to come back.
Again, especially against a section rival.
Yes.
The Cardinals are at Blaine on Tuesday, and they host Anoka on Thursday. And Howie?
We'll be there.
Girls basketball team just had the 2 conference games last week, starting out against Spring Lake Park, and that one did not finish well for them at all. 91-28, just 9 points in the second half for the Cardinals against the Panthers. Kaylin Green led the way with 9 points. Graham added 6, and then 3 points each from Palmer, Bierman, and Smith. On, was that Wednesday?
Yeah.
They lost to Totino Grace 73-39. Kaylee Bierman, 12 points, 8 boards. A double-double for Casey Beck with 10 points and 12 rebounds. But Cardinals fall to 1-18. They will play that same schedule, hosting Blaine on Tuesday, at Anoka on Thursday, and then they will be at Cambridge Isanti on Saturday.
And we will be there tomorrow night for the girls' game against Blaine.
That is correct. Girls basketball on Tuesday against Blaine. Boys basketball on Thursday against Anoka. And a possible rematch for the girls hockey team against Osseo Park Center. Either way, it's the first round of the section tournament on Saturday. But that is going to do it for this edition of Sportsnight. I want to thank everybody out for joining us and continuing to support everything we do here at CTN. For the entire crew, including Tom Cornell behind the camera and Howie Shapiro to my right, I'm Joe Young saying good night.